All right, it's 5 p.m. on March 2nd, 2026. I call this meeting of the Clear Creek Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that its notice has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. And with that, we do not have any community input, so first item after that would be the Leader in Me.
Okay, great. Monica G. Thank you. Monica Giuffre, CCISD Director of Instructional Design, will provide a brief update on the Leader in Me contract, which is up for renewal. And I'd like to take just a minute to share some historical information about the Leader in Me program. Ms. Giuffre launched the Leader in Me program at Falcon Pass in 2017 as an innovative program funded by the Clear Creek Education Foundation. Over the years, the program has expanded, and we've seen the benefits of Leader in Me for children. The benefits are undeniable. The program has since become embedded into the culture of CCISD. We are now a Leader in Me district, and Ms. Giuffre has supported the program district-wide for the past 3 years. So the 7 habits of highly effective people central to the Leader in Me framework are now woven into the launch curriculum experienced by all 6th grade students, equipping students with the essential skills for a successful transition into secondary education. And this is a community partnership, as she will share, with municipalities, Rotaries, large business partners, and the Clear Creek Education Foundation collaborating to fund this program. They support students through the development of skills necessary for success in any career path that they choose. So former Superintendent Greg Smith approved the original program nearly 10 years ago. Ms. Giuffre implemented it with outstanding success, and together Ms. Hughes and Ms. Giuffre have championed its growth across the district. So Ms. Giuffre will now provide exciting next steps of the Leader in Me program along with an overview of the contract. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Engel. Appreciate that. So it is time for us to renew our contract with Franklin Covey for the Leader in Me work. So this is just a good opportunity to give an update of where we are and what is next for Leader in Me in CCISD. We want to begin with a video created by our communications team to celebrate the Leader in Me work in our district. Yes, no, on.
When our students thrive, our communities thrive. That's the promise of Leader in Me. This program empowers students with leadership and life skills, but it doesn't stop there. Teachers gain a shared language to support growth, schools foster a culture of responsibility and respect, and families see children taking charge of their future.
Good morning, Voyagers. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Leader in Me isn't just for classroom. It's for communities who believe in raising the next generation of leaders. Imagine if every school in our district adopted this model. Students ready to lead, teachers empowered to inspire, and communities strengthened by tomorrow's leaders.
This program has not only transformed all of our students, but our whole school culture as well. This is something that every school deserves.
There we go. All right, so the Leader in Me work is grounded in our district strategic plan and that profile of a learner. Our end in mind is to create a safe and supportive culture where each person is empowered to contribute and lead with integrity. We are committed to intentionally teaching, modeling, and demonstrating effective leadership at every level of the organization, from pre-kindergarten all the way through graduation, and across all stakeholders, including our employees, our parents, and community members. With Leader in Me as that foundation at the elementary level, and now bridging into secondary with our launch class. So as Dr. Engel mentioned earlier, when implemented with fidelity, the positive outcomes of Leader in Me have multiple impacts. We see it impacting that school culture, we see improvements in behavior, improved academic achievement, attendance, and teacher engagement, just to name a few. So I wanted to definitely take a moment to honor the people who bring this to life across the district. And here's some examples on the screen of just some of the recent things that have happened. That bottom left corner are our launch teachers. On a recent DPL day, they went out to San Jac to firsthand experience of the petrochemical and energy work there so that they could speak to their 6th grade students just about what's available in our own backyard. And it was a wonderful learning opportunity for those teachers. And I cannot say enough about our launch teachers. They are so dedicated to this work. Super thankful for them and Dr. Mackay, who helps lead that. Then the bottom right just happened last week. We took 38 principals, counselors, and teacher leaders to the Dallas Symposium, and they had a firsthand experience. We got to go visit campuses and just learn. Sean Covey spoke to us, a couple of superintendents from the Dallas area. So they came back loaded with new great ideas to bring back to campuses. And then the top picture was from the Clear Creek Education Foundation luncheon. I thought they did a beautiful job of really starting to show how this is impacting at every level, from an elementary student who spoke to the Clearview High School student who spoke, a teacher. We had 2 parents on the panel, and then the business leader from Houston Methodist. Like, we're beginning to really see the thread and the value of the common language and common vision and purpose through Leader in Me. So that is all exciting. So kind of here's where we are right now. These are our current Leader in Me campuses. On the left side of the screen are those that have been through that 3-year process already. 3 of our campuses have already received the distinction of being lighthouse campuses, which means they implement the entire Leader in Me framework at the highest level. We have 2 more campuses who will be going through that process this spring, Bay and Landau Elementary. And then on the right side of the screen, you see the campuses that are within the process. So last year, Clear Lake City, Parr, and Ross all started the process. So they are now in year 2 of implementation. And this year, Gilmore, Goforth, Hyde, and Mossman are starting the process in year 1. We are so fortunate 2 years ago to be partnered with the Kern Family Foundation grant. And so each year we've applied for that for the onboarding campuses, and they pick up a substantial amount of the cost for us. And so the great news moving forward, when they heard that we had a plan through 2030 to continue that goal of onboarding the remaining campuses, they wanted to partner with us and said, let's not do this year-to-year ask. They went ahead and gave us the grant to finish all of our remaining schools, which is phenomenal. So this, in partnership with Ms. Hughes and our campus principals, we went ahead and created that roadmap through 2030, so you can see when the rest of our elementary campuses will go ahead and start that onboarding process. So now just to get into the details of the contract, I know you have that in your packets. Their contracts are a little bit complex, and so I wanted to give some context to that. The first part of the contract is really about the onboarding. So what is involved with bringing on those new campuses. Most of that is picked up by the Kern Family Foundation, and just wanted to point out, to date with this new contract, we would have over $600,000 from current family. So this would not be possible with that partnership. And then the second part of the contract is about the sustaining for our campuses that are already within the process. So that part of the contract is funded through our Clear Creek Education Foundation, local PTAs. It truly is, as Dr. Ingle said, it is a lot of different partnerships from our community who believe in this work. And again, we would not be able to do this without those partnerships. So that's kind of how the contract is broken up. Just to give you some amounts, the per student, the way they charge for membership is about a little over $9 per student, which in isolation, that is a small amount. When you start adding it up to every elementary student in our district, that's where that fee can get large. And then Kern, they give us $50 per student, which is great. And we're able to utilize that money to support training. We've also been able to dip in and get permission to use that money for district-wide leadership trainings. So we've used that with current leadership, offered some things. We've offered some things to our aspiring leaders program through them. So we have a little flexibility to use that just to continue to build leadership capacity district-wide. And so here's just a moment to honor all of the different community partnerships by campus. Certainly have to thank the Clear Creek Education Foundation for leading this work. As Dr. Ingle said, it's gone from Rotaries to communities to now we're seeing families of campuses sponsor entire campuses and wanting to be a part of that. So we have just so much gratitude for our community for joining in with us to keep this work going for our students. And that is all I have.
Yeah, and just open it up to any questions.
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffrey. All right, I'll open it up. Anybody questions and comments? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Free. I know all of us have had the chance to see Leader in Me in action at so many of our campuses, and hearing students at such a young age speak confidently about their responsibilities, their contributions to their campus community, teaching their communication skills, leadership skills, service before self, as we've talked about, and knowing that we're seeing the benefits of that as we really explore reimagining our intermediate campuses and the work that we're doing there and how it feeds into high school students that are giving back in ways that I think surpasses all of our expectations. So as you think about things that we should be considering from a board perspective in an environment where resources continue to be a challenge, the things that we could be doing to advocate for more Kern Family Foundation friends, or if there are other things that kind of are on top of your mind, I think would be helpful for us to hear.
You know, I think our ears are just always open to any type of partnerships, and I have to, Jennifer Garcia does such a great job of that through Education Foundation, but I think really it's just about connecting those outside partners so that they know, it's an easy connect to a campus to sponsor those things, I think is the biggest piece, just so that we can continue the work. The other thing I think is exciting is starting to look for ways our kids can be out in the community. So it's not just a one-way street, but that we're also looking for opportunities. I know kids presented at the Rotary, and that's such a fun partnership, and just some different things. I think the more we think about ways to put kids out there, and the more that grows, I think it just gives our kids more opportunities to use those skills outside of the school setting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for spearheading this when it first started, and it feels like this is what we've always done, but I think it's because we've really seen it take off at so many of our campuses. So thank you for that, and thank you to some of our principals and campus leaders that are here that are seeing that happen, and making sure, not seeing it happen, that you're making it happen at your campuses, and for the support that you're providing through just reinforcing all of these habits. So thank you for that.
Thank Trustee Sanchez. All right, good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a board member who was not impressed with what you've accomplished with our students, with Leader in Me. I'd like to tell people whenever who ask me about the program that there's a palpable difference when you walk onto a campus where Leader in Me is flourishing, and it is just a different way of interacting with our students. You can tell that they've really been propelled along their journey to success with the program. So I want to echo Trustee Sanchez's remarks, and also I really can't say enough about using Leader in Me as a springboard to get our students in front of the community. I think when the community sees what we've accomplished there, that'll make making more partnerships easier. So I appreciate the work you've done there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Larson. All right, anyone else?
Ms. Jufrey, I was going to thank you for, being the spear, so to speak, in, implementing this at your elementary, when you were at the elementary level, and then also at the district level as well. I think the reason for the success is just, the people behind it supporting it. And just to echo Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Larson, with our TASB Winter Governance coming up, this would be an awesome time if we were able to incorporate some of our younger, CCISD students, into that presentation. So maybe in the future we'll do that. But thank you once again. Mr. Larson kind of nailed it when he said, when you go to a campus that already has this in place and see the excitement from the students and see the excitement from staff, you can tell just the way the kids have interacted. You can tell, behaviors, things of that nature. I know when we implemented Launch, that was a major focal point coming out of that, was just the behavior aspect. And I kind of challenged staff to think about, elementary, middle school, but for our students that may enter, after sixth grade or what have you, what are we going to do for our, high school students? I think that's the next, probably the next iteration of where this program is going to go. So just thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Cunningham. So I'll echo what they said. But, for me, one of the things is the confidence that the students that go through Leader Me have, the accountability that those students have for their actions and their decisions. As they mentioned, when you get to go to those campuses, it's eye-opening to see when a young 5-year-old wants to grab a microphone and talk so well and confidently in front of complete strangers. That's not something that's normal, but it is here in CCISD, and we're very proud. And Trustee, exactly. They're the guide, and they're in charge. And I mean, really, when you see those young kids, and so if we're making those connections to the Kerns or anyone else, create those opportunities. And thank y'all for opening up the doors to those campuses and showing everybody around and letting the kids lead. So it is life skills, that's important and that the students in CCISD are getting. So we appreciate it very much. So is there any other questions or comments? No? All right. Thank you, Ms. Jufrey. Appreciate it. All right. So our next item is going to be Clear Tech.
And so we'll do a little transition here. And while they're coming up, just a little background. Clear Creek ISD continues to pursue innovative ways to expand virtual learning, supported by recent Texas legislation that gives districts greater flexibility to offer virtual instructional models. And to align with these opportunities, the Virtual Learning Exploration Team worked for over a year investigating options and providers. Ms. Polson, Chief of Communications and Strategic Initiatives, and Dr. Stallings, Assistant Supervisor superintendent for teaching and learning, have been a part of the virtual learning design team, have moved from exploration to design, led by CCISD Director of Learning Technology, Kelly Lane. The team explored trusted partners with proven experience in high quality online education. And it didn't take long to agree there's one obvious partner for Clear Creek ISD. Texas Tech University K-12 is an accredited statewide provider of asynchronous courses that already offers broad access to flexible, standards-aligned virtual learning. The program quality is outstanding, and the superintendent, our friend and colleague, Dr. Robert Bayard, prioritized his schedule to join us this evening in person from Lubbock. Thank you, Dr. Bayard. And so I'll turn it over to Ms. Lane. She'll give you an overview of the program, introduce to the development team, and certainly have a chance to hear from Dr. Bayard. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here tonight. Tonight, we want to introduce to you the ClearLink virtual pathways, and it's our district's next step to expanding access, flexibility, and opportunity for students. Over the past several years, and especially recently with the new Texas legislation, including Senate Bill 569, we've seen a clear shift in what learners need: personalized pacing, options to fit their schedule, and more ways to stay on track within their learning goals. Currently, we offer students flexible learning pathways in ways with flex scheduling, which is an off-campus e-course option for our high school students, typically in first and 7th period. We have accelerated coursework, which is our Clear Access program, which has been around since 2008. And we've expanded it over the years. And what it does is it offers courses outside of the school day for students to take so that they can free up courses within their schedule, options within their schedule, so they can take courses that they are interested in, passionate about, or even pursuing other interests. We also offer dual credit, virtual or hybrid, which is a partnership with San Jacinto Junior College and College in the Mainland to provide dual credit opportunities for students. And depending on which courses they take and which campus they attend and which courses they take, will then decide if they want to take a hybrid, a fully virtual, or an in-person option. And then we have credit recovery, which is our Clear Stars program, which provides credit recovery outside of the school day so that our students also, again, are able to take other courses which provide them the pathway that they are most interested in. So all of this that we are talking about tonight aligns beautifully with Vision 2030, Goals 2 and 3, where each student will engage in a world-class learning experience that fosters curiosity, develops talents, guides exploration, and fuels achievement, as well as Goal 3, where CCISD will cultivate innovation through strategic collaboration and responsive organizational stewardship. So all part of Vision 2030, which then, with the work that we've been doing over the last year and a half, has been allowed by the new Texas legislation of Senate Bill 569, which established a new Chapter 30B, which gives our district the opportunity to establish a fully accountable virtual learning program beginning in the year, this next school year, 26-27. And this framework allows us to serve students who need flexible options while maintaining state funding, instructional quality, and accountability standards aligned to our traditional campuses. So as you've seen, our existing pathways give students strong options, but more and more our students are looking for a pathway that offers flexibility without sacrificing rigorous, high-quality courses that fits around a family's responsibilities, their work schedules, learning styles, and in most cases, our students' own aspirations. That's why we are so excited to share with you tonight and introduce Clear Tech. So Clear Tech is a partnership that we have with Texas Tech K-12. And so as we look at how our students' their needs continue to evolve, one thing is clear. Our students deserve access to opportunities that match the pace and possibilities of a world that they will one day help shape. That's why we're proud to announce this partnership between two world-class institutions, Clear Creek ISD and Texas Tech K-12. These collaborations bring together the strengths of a nationally recognized university program and the deep community commitment of our district, expanding access, elevating rigor, and flexibility without compromising quality. By combining Clear Creek ISD's student-centered vision with Texas Tech's K-12 proven virtual academic excellence, we are offering a learning experience, meeting students where they are today, preparing them for where they will be tomorrow. Both world-class institutions rated exceptionally high in the niche ratings and their long-standing reputations for academic success. This level of quality and trust results in Clear Creek ISD being able to commit to our students opportunities that match the highest standards of excellence. We have a special guest with us today who, as you all have already seen and heard, Dr. Bayard from Texas Tech K-12, and he would like to share a few words with us.
Well, good evening. This is certainly a special new technology. This is definitely a special homecoming. For more than 30 years, Texas Tech K-12 has served students across Texas, the nation, and around the world through rigorous state-certified curriculum, expert educators, and comprehensive support systems designed to meet learners where they are. So, good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Engel, Cabinet, staff, and families. I know most of you, I know all of you are on the table. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert Baird, and I am the proud superintendent of Texas Tech K-12. We are honored and excited by the possibility of partnering with Clear Creek ISD to expand access to high-quality learning opportunities for students whose educational needs extend beyond traditional school hours or traditional brick-and-mortar classroom walls. One of my principals, Dr. Carrie Moy, she's been working with your staff. She is an amazing leader, and she is our principal of recruitment, strategic partnerships, and pathways, and she can't wait to meet all of you and is just excited for this partnership. To give you an idea of who we offer and who we educate, we currently have about 1,500 full-time students. We also have about 2,000 international students, and we have students in 71 countries. We have partnerships with 5 different countries outside of the United States. Our mission at Texas Tech K-12 is to empower students through a premier online education grounded in flexibility, innovation, and engagement. Our vision is to transform K-12 education rooted in the Texas Tech spirit of excellence. I can do this now. By delivering world-class learning opportunities anytime, anywhere. One of my goals when I went to Texas Tech K-12, I've been the superintendent since July, my goal is to support public schools, whether to provide options for students who need to or want to take courses that aren't offered, by providing instruction when a teacher can't be found, or more importantly, we want to provide a way for schools to find students who have left for homeschool, private schools, or charter schools through our combination of programs and partnerships. Although students work at their own pace in an asynchronous format, I believe what we offer is important in that there are live certified teachers for every course and every student. In fact, all of our teachers have at least 3 years of experience, and a majority have well over 5 years to 10 years experience at least. We are proud that our mission and vision closely align with the priorities of Clear Creek ISD, and we look forward to supporting your students and families through this meaningful and mutually beneficial partnership. At Texas Tech K-12, we believe from here it is possible, and together I know we will make new opportunities a reality for every learner.
Thank you, Dr. Bayard. We're so excited Because it's one of the, like he was talking about all of the different partnerships, but this is the first of its kind partnership in the United States for Texas Tech K-12. So we're leading the way in Clear Creek ISD. So with Clear Tech, we align flexibility with purpose. When we look at our schedule-friendly options, these are designed for flexibility without sacrificing quality. For our first year, for the 26-27 school year, we will be offering this virtual program for grades 3 through 9. Students who enroll in Clear Creek ISD as a virtual student will then have the opportunity for the Texas Tech K-12 coursework, the asynchronous, rigorous online coursework, and the great part is we will be able to offer in-person support and enrichment opportunities through Clear Creek ISD. Students will complete high-quality virtual coursework at home or in a location that is required by their family needs, remain connected to a public school district that offers community activities and college career planning resources. It's important to remember that flexibility is the delivery model, but academic quality, connection, and support remain the foundation. So who is Clear Tech ideal for? It is ideal for the students who are participating in competitive sports or performing arts programs that require daytime flexibility. It's also ideal for families seeking a non-traditional school setting, and it's ideal for homeschool families. We are excited that Clear Tech has 3 personal touch partner schools, and their principals are here today, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Good evening. I'm Paige Hutchison, principal of Clear Lake City Elementary, and we're very excited to be part of this opportunity. At the Leader in Me Symposium this last week, I was deeply reminded of how important having a sense of belonging and connectedness is for students. And so in order to offer a virtual learning opportunity, we are very proud to be able to say we could be their connected home base to give them those opportunities to build that sense of belonging and still enjoy the flexibility of a very rigorous and respected curriculum.
All right, and I'm Erin Schmidt. I'm principal at Creekside Intermediate, and so again, same reasons to be excited and on this journey. And I know that for intermediate school students and families, that's still a big transition. Whether virtual or in person, intermediate school is a big transition, and I'm excited to think of ways that we can offer them support. Offer traditional experiences for intermediate school students, their first dance, attending UIL events, performing arts events. I'm just excited to think about the opportunities we could provide for these students to feel a sense of belonging and feel included, but also gain their education through the virtual method. So I'm excited to be a partner in this process.
And I'm Monica Speaks, proud principal of Clearbrook High School. And really, there's nothing left for me to say about what we'll do, but we're excited about this opportunity to join with our Clear Tech program. And the thought that lingers with me the most is this opportunity to provide the connected home base for students as they are participating in the flexibility of the academic arena. They will be connected with our campuses, and we're looking forward to the exploration of those opportunities, new ideas, but also some of those traditional experiences that high school students have come to appreciate and to cherish. We want to partner and ensure that they can have those experiences as well.
Thank you so much. And they just alluded to it, and I'm so excited to share that all of the opportunities and possibilities that they are referencing all have to do with the Clear Creek, the CCISD Advantage. Just waiting for it to come up. Thank you. The CCISD Advantage. I'm just so excited about it. I wanted you to see it. So this is where students can learn anywhere while still building those lifelong memories. that connectedness that each of the principals mentioned is so important, including, just like Ms. Jufrey shared with us, how important and critical the Leader in Me and character education has been at the campuses. We hope that we have opportunities for the students when they come onto campus that they too will be a part of building that program, and it just may look a little bit different, but being able to have the benefit of that. Parent groups, clubs and enrichment activities, technology support, safe internet use, academic guidance and counseling, and those memories, special memories, prom, football games, carnivals, concerts, libraries, the things that our students are most interested in, that they still can feel connected to Clear Creek. So the profile of a Clear Tech learner. We want to make sure that we ensure students are served, that we serve the right students in the right environment, so we have defined the Clear Tech learner, and that would be a student who is on or above grade level, independent, motivated, and supported by family. We believe family is going to be a critical factor in this virtual program, because they're going to be kind of that accountability partner at home, and depending on which level they are, we have already outlined all the different ways that they will be a support to that student, so that they will, so that we can ensure that they are getting the right supports, the right progress, and that they're not doing this alone while they're at home or whichever environment they're using. So for the 26-27 school year, we will be, our K-2 students will be going through Texas Tech K-12. We will be guiding them to that program. And then our students in grades 3 through 9 will be enrolled in CCISD and then utilizing the Texas Tech K-12 virtual courses. Our high school grades will be added to the core cohort each year. So we start with 9th grade, the next year it will be 10th grade. And then we are super excited, especially with the alignment to the strategic plan for Vision 2030, that our graduating class will be the class of 2030. So it beautifully finishes just the way we need it to. All right, and then here is a preview. We are getting ready to start all of our promotionals and build the excitement.
What if school fit your life, not the other way around? Welcome to Clear Tech Virtual Program, a powerful partnership between Clear Creek ISD and Texas Tech K-12. A tuition-free, accredited online education for Texas students, elementary through high school. Certified teachers, real support, flexible schedules. Perfect for homeschool families, student athletes, performers, entrepreneurs, and students who simply thrive outside the traditional classroom. And with access to Clear Creek ISD's in-person enrichment opportunities, students can stay connected while learning their way. Your path, your pace, your success. Clear Tech Virtual Program, launching fall 2026. Open enrollment, unlimited potential.
See here. So to kick off, this is open to families across the state of Texas who want to be a part of Clear Creek ISD. We will begin with our Clear Tech informational meetings starting, we will have virtual meetings beginning Thursday, March 19th, as well as March 24th. And then we will have an in-person session on Tuesday, April 2nd. So for those who want to learn more about Clear Tech, we welcome you to join those meetings. And then finally, we are super excited. We have our application window opening, and we encourage anyone who is interested in Clear Tech to apply at cleartech.ccisd.net. Our goal is to provide flexible, high-quality virtual learning pathways that keep students connected to our district while expanding access, innovation, and student success. We really want to, I want to take a moment, and I really want to say thanks to the Virtual Learning Exploration and Design team. They have been spending countless hours and time doing research and finding the best way to meet the needs of our students, to innovate, to think differently, to think outside the box. And they have done an outstanding job, and many of them are right behind us in the gallery. They've come to support because they believe in this journey that we are on with virtual learning. We also want to thank the board, the school board, Dr. Engel, and everyone on at this table for all of the support that you have offered in helping us move towards this direction so that our students, so we're expanding options for our students. We want to make sure that we're reaching all of the students in the ways that best meets their needs. So thank you all.
Could I have the team stand up, please? Anybody that was a part of this, the original exploration.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Lang, great job. And Dr. Baird, welcome. I'll go ahead and open it up. I know I'm going to have a bunch of questions, but I'll go ahead and open up.
I will jump in. I can't say thank you enough. I remember, I think 2 or 3 years ago when we kind of started brainstorming this, and it was just this big idea that it just sounded crazy at the time. And so it's really, really neat to see it finally coming through. I think it's a great way to address the enrollment. I guess my first question is, what type of strategies are we doing? I know we mentioned like trying to pull back the kids we've lost from either private or charter or homeschool. So what type of strategies are we putting in place to try to recruit those students back?
It will be very similar to our Discover CCISD campaign, where we have a standalone website. You'll see an ad at the lawn over at the mall again. But really, when you looked at that profile of an ideal ClearTech learner, certainly the students that have left us for homeschool, and also going a little bit further out to those performing arts, those studios where those kids are at during the day. And we have some services that will help us identify who those people are.
Can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
We are about to begin running commercials in the Houston market on KPRC for Texas Tech K-12, and any students from Clear Creek ISD that try to enroll or attempt to enroll with Texas Tech, we will funnel them back through to Clear Creek ISD to make sure that Clear Creek ISD captures those students for your enrollment.
We appreciate that. I think it's great and love that we're making sure those families know like those opportunities are there, from whether it's fine arts, whether it's athletics. I think that is always kind of the question, like, do I want to do something like this because I don't want to lose out on whatever the opportunities our district offers. So I love that those students are also going to be able to reap the benefits from what all our district has to offer. So I can't say thank you guys enough.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Cheka. All right, open up.
I'll hop in because this is, we talked about it 2 or 3 years ago, but I think for Trustee Sanchez and myself that have been on the board for a while, when we think of flexible start times and things of that nature, these discussions have been going on for a long time. So to see this become a reality is awesome. Needless to say, just some of the things, want to thank the state legislature for funding it. I know that was one of the big things that was kind of holding us back, but some of the best practices that you see from COVID, you see some of those students that do thrive online. Whether it's medical issues, anxiety, extracurriculars. I know Ms. Cheka has a potential Olympic athlete, and I think, I think of all the other kids that are involved in cheer, competitive cheer, gymnastics, other things like that we aren't reaching. I know Miss Albert, for example, and Ashley Orr, for example, they have amazing kids that are doing amazing things outside of the classroom that eventually could see them make a career out of it, or, you know, et cetera. So I think of those kids, and although it doesn't touch us, they're part of our community. So to be able to offer this, you know, reaches those kids as well. As mentioned before, it also hits on reaching the kids that we've lost, you know, during COVID, because I think their parents realize that, you know, my child, for example, thrived, you know, during that time, or maybe just didn't like the traditional classroom setting. I think of my own kids. Oldest hated, you know, online. My youngest loved it. And when I look at how his assignments were and things of that nature, and look at him at Baylor now, I see those skills. You know, I see those skills transfer over. So is it for everybody? Absolutely not. It is not. But it's to fill that gap. So thank you to staff. I know it's not hard. I think of 15 years ago, maybe, going to Victory Lakes and looking at students learning. And I came home and I told my wife, I just saw the future. The future, right? Just because I learned from a textbook doesn't mean students are going to continue to learn from textbooks. So just being able to think outside the box, remove yourself from your own bias, and provide those opportunities to our students, I can't thank everyone in this room enough. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee Cunningham. All right. Anyone else? Go ahead.
So I will say thank you. And since lots has already been said, I'll just ask some of the questions that I have. So I know each of the campus principals talked about being a partner school. Can you talk about what that looks like for you at the campus, for a teacher or teachers who will have responsibility for interfacing, and then also what would a parent or a family member expect if they were coming to you all for support or assistance?
Okay, so at the elementary level, what we're discussing and what we're hoping to offer would be coming into the library weekly, where you could come in and check out a book. Some of those really simple pieces that brings this chance to come together as the students of Clear Tech and be able to build those relationships. Do some makerspace, get to have fun with hands-on experiences with STEM. All of those pieces are right there in our library, ready for kids to access. And so the responsibility would be with my librarian, who jumped at the idea and said, please give me a chance to interact with these kids and get to have these moments together. And then they can start seeing themselves in the building as they build these things, just like all of our other Clear Lake City Thunderbirds, and have them displayed around. So just continuing to work on that connectedness. From my understanding, we will be having the academic support coming from our Texas Tech K-12 partner. And so that piece would not fall on our teachers, which is excellent, as we know that the legislature really asked us to not ask teachers to do both the in-person and online, that hybrid piece. And thankfully so. So we are moving forward with that. So they would have their own Clear Creek badge. So as the student comes on campus, we would have a system for checking them in. They would get to have the opportunities to participate in things like our monthly buddy run with their families, where their family could come on campus at 4 o'clock with the other families and run around and earn miles towards their marathon, and their miles would be tracked just like everybody else. So there's some weekly, monthly, and then as we go through the year, some different experiences that they could come to field day. There would be some possibilities of maybe joining in the Exploration Green field trips that we offer on our campus to walk there and engage in that learning with our partner of Exploration Green. So there's some opportunities that would put the parent involved with the student, of course, on the field trip, just like we ask our other parents to come as well. So it wouldn't be too much more to ask a parent. And then the opportunity to come weekly would be based on their schedule. They could come whenever they'd like to come to that library time, if they're in town or if that is working for them. And just an opportunity that I haven't seen other school districts capture yet. And so we're really excited because this is the first time that 3rd through 5th graders would have a different opportunity through our district to learn in their way.
So I guess we're going to stick to going, elementary, intermediate, high school.
I'll be last with nothing else to say.
I think that several of our secondary benefits that we've thought about and things we could offer do overlap. But they're certainly targeted at different needs for intermediate and high school. But a big benefit that we would have at Creekside Intermediate is we have a 5th period RTI time, which is students sign up to attend tutorials. We call it Reach, Thrive, Ignite time. So they go to tutorials or they're pulled in by teachers to receive additional support, or they attend Ignite sessions. During Ignite sessions, they're igniting their passion. And so there's club meetings. There's teachers offer special interest groups. And so those would be opportunities that through these students having access to our SSO portal, where they can go in and access the same information our on-campus students do, they'd be able to sign up for RTI sessions. And so they could attend the campus between 12 and 1:30 and attend those RTI sessions if they were registered just like our on-campus students. So they could participate in clubs. We could potentially design some virtual maybe tutorial sessions or work sessions where there might be access to supports that we could provide. Some of the career planning and some of the counseling services we could potentially provide through that time as well. So they can access the makerspace in the library during RTI time as well at the intermediate level. And so that's really where they could participate during the day-to-day. They would also receive all communication through Parent Square and access to all of the events and different opportunities to be engaged that we send out to all of our families. So that would be weekly, and then RTI takes place every day. And so there's an hour and a half every day where if they were available and signed up, they could certainly attend campus and go into those sessions just like our on-campus students. Thank you for letting me go second.
Right. So ditto to mostly everything that was said. Additionally, I just think of, as far as the clubs and organizations, some of the things that are done after school would be a draw, I believe, for these families as well, and these students participating with different clubs and organizations, service learning projects. Of course, high school activities like prom and some of the things that we've already said would be activities that we would welcome our students to participate and be a part of. I think about virtual clubs because we are anticipating that students might not live right down the street, so they're in Texas but not necessarily in the vicinity. So having those additional opportunities with virtual connections to build community, I think that's what's most important here. And truly everything that she said.
Thank you. And I just because I think there will be, and I'm sure questions will come up in the different sessions, but athletics was not something I think that was mentioned, but I imagine a parent who's thinking about their child being online, but having a partner campus, does that give them the ability to participate through UIL in athletics, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I'll answer that. They will be allowed to participate in UIL. We are currently working with UIL to learn more about how they are responding to a virtual program in school since the adoption of Senate Bill 569. So it's a little bit vague at this time. And so we're hesitant to say specifically what our students will do, but we are working on that guidance. And as soon as we have the guidance, we will be sure to move forward and communicate that. So
fantastic.
they will be participating, just not exactly sure what it looks like specifically.
Right. Okay. No, that's great.
And I will say, keep in mind that, especially at the high school level, that, their PE class is basically their sport class. So, as you think of this, I would caution, if you have that budding athlete, that you may want to look at that, in-person option, because there's a lot that they're going to miss out on. Certain sports you just can't show up and just play. You got to be integrated with, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, know the plays, etc. So
Yep.
those are some things to keep in mind.
Yep. You mentioned early, I think, in the presentation, I just think about it as on-ramps, like where would they join us? Where would a student or a family join us? And so at high school, you said we'll start with freshmen.
Freshmen, yes, sir.
But the other grades, you could enter at any grade?
At any grade, right? Yes, sir. If it's a fifth grader, they could start in fifth grade. If they're a seventh grader, they could start in seventh grade. So just between the grade 3 and grade 9.
Okay.
So as far as being part of the high school cohort, it would be grade 9 is the one is starting.
Got it. And then for students who are with us in person today, currently enrolled in person, who have a viable reason or rationale as to why this option actually would be better for them, or they would be interested in it, do we have on-ramps and off-ramps for currently enrolled in-person students that want to move to this virtual option?
So with the application is serving more as an interest form right now. So that will give us a better idea of how many students we have and because we have several survey questions within it. So we'll have a better idea of what their reason or what their interest is. And then before we actually enroll the student, we will have a counselor who will reach out and have a one-on-one conversation with every applicant if they are interested. So then we will be able to make that proper determination of what it will look like for that student. So if they're currently enrolled and they're interested in the virtual program, then that'll give us a starting point.
Okay. So I think that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because I think it'll come up. I know we've had families whose child or children are involved in athletics that aren't necessarily UIL recognized, but they're full-time gymnast or they're full-time in a sport that this could be extremely attractive for them because the in-person option just poses a challenge. And so maybe I'm just thinking we may get some questions about
No, and that's a great question. And thank you for bringing that up. So right now we're doing the application process. It'll close on May 15th. We may have, depending on our interest, we may have a short window right before the start of school where we will see if there are any other students, but typically we will have a specific window that students will enroll. So if they decided in the third week they wouldn't be able to enroll in our virtual program third week of school, we have kind of a window so that they're starting with a full semester and completing that entire semester before they decide to either they want to go back to face-to-face, then they would at the end of the semester then go back face-to-face. So ideally our onboarding and offboarding would be like at semesters.
Okay. I think that was another question I was going to ask
Oh,
about.
okay.
For students who try it and then decide, oh, this isn't for them, they have a way to then
Yes,
join us. And maybe
at this
maybe
semester.
it allows us to capture students that otherwise hadn't, but then the connection with the partner campus makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are, oh, sure.
Just to clarify, so when do you think we'll have that extracurricular piece kind of nailed down? So, because I wouldn't want people applying and still wanting to do all that extracurricular stuff, and then us find out that that's not viable.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a great point. And luckily, or I guess the good thing is right now the application is more of an interest form. And so we would be able to target those specific families once we learn more from UIL. So we have put in a call and we're just waiting for the return call.
Okay. The last thing I would say is maybe in big, bold letters, we should put no voucher needed.
Absolutely.
So I loved seeing that this was, it's an option. It continues to amplify all of the options of choice that we've offered across our district for students in different programs, for different pathways. It is important for our community to know that we've provided options since before the state decided that was very important. And so I echo that they are at least providing the funding necessary for this to be viable. But I would just want people to know that when we talk about this option, that a voucher is not required to be part of it. And I think we should underscore that to anyone who we're telling this to. So I thank you all.
Thank you.
For this. It is something that has been on the minds, I think, of lots of trustees and Dr. Engel and members of cabinet. I think this, like open enrollment, like things that we've had to consider in an environment where the funding formula just doesn't add up, I think is something that has made it necessary for us to consider other ways to compete in an environment where all of the pieces really aren't there. So thank you all for putting a lot of thought behind it. Thank you for partnering with a familiar face who knows what our standards and expectations are for our community. And I'm excited to see what this looks like. I think it's important for the community to know this is one more variable when we think about how do we make it to a balanced budget. How do we find solutions in an environment where there isn't a formula that supports our district going forward? And every solution isn't about losing people and losing resources and compromising quality. It really is about thinking, how do we do this differently? So I just think it's so important. I thank you all for thinking about this and being invested and really carrying this forward. And I look forward to hearing how families respond and how the community feels about this. So thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Bayer.
Yeah, Mr. Sanchez, you mentioned vouchers. At Texas Tech K-12, we are not accepting vouchers. We've had many phone calls inquiring about that. At this time, we are not. My purpose is to support public schools and not cannibalize public schools. And so if parents are interested in Texas Tech K-12, they will join us through other means, but not through vouchers.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Trustees. Hold on real quick, Dr. Engel.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to follow back up on that extracurricular because, I mean, that has been a big point of conversation. And Ms. Albert, our Assistant Director for Visual and Performing Arts, is on this committee and keeping very close tabs at what's happening for UIL. I didn't know if you had an update.
There's just very big guidance on it. It states that they can be eligible under their school of residency, so wherever they're zoned to, which alludes to our partnership with Brook. But as far as how it's outlined and how it needs to be implemented, they haven't come out with that yet. So
I could work with vague.
yeah.
I don't know if Ms. Albert likes vague.
So that, it kind of follows the same rules as a brick and mortar, just the online version of that, but they have to be participating in a school that they're zoned to, which would technically be Brook since they're our partnership school. So that would be their school of residency or how they want to state that. But it's very vague as far as other than full-time students.
Thank you. Did you have another question?
Very quick. This is another example of how good we've gotten with partnerships, which is important, and how we've been fast to market, and that's important too. So thank you all for that excellent work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trustee McKay. Trustee Check.
I did have one more question. For the high school students, how will that work with like GPA and class rank?
Great question, and we're starting with ninth grade, and Miss West has really been very deep into that.
So it's all a proposal right now. Everything that we've been working on, especially with GPA and rank, is so tied to policy that it would have to go to the policy committee for complete approval. Some of the things that we are proposing at this point in time, based on the policy that already exists, freshmen only get their class rank one time a year. So we do have a little bit of time per se before we actually have to publish that. For as long as it is a program, since Clearbrook is their school of choice, they would be ranked with the students at Clearbrook. The proposals that we have right now that we've kind of been discussing would be that since the curriculum is not exactly the same, it's two different curriculum, that the students of Clear Tech would share a rank wherever they would fall closest to the rank of a student with a brick and mortar. And the other option would be that, again, because the rigor is different, that there is a possibility as of right now, but again, this all would have to go before you all, that they would not qualify for valedictorian and salutatorian, because that would be a special district honor that would be held for our brick and mortar students. Again, those are all just proposals. I can tell you some of the differences after looking and crosswalking the curriculum from Texas Tech and Clear Creek ISD. The brick and mortar students do have more opportunities for the levels 1 courses. Texas Tech does offer AP courses, not as many as brick and mortar. They do not offer honors level courses, so that is it's going to be different as it is, but those are some of the things that we have been discussing. And after tonight's meeting, when we move forward to update those policies and bring them to you for approval.
Okay. All right. Great question. All right. I know I've got a couple questions, but I just wanted one more round. No? Okay. Overall, this is very exciting. I wrote down the word transformative. I think Sprint 2023 is whenever we first saw one of the recommendations for online school. I think COVID taught us that we need to be flexible and have opportunities that we hadn't thought of or had before. So hopefully, this is something that's there. Dr. Baird, there was a receiving line of trustees waiting to hug you and shake your hand and welcome you back. It's a partnership that we, not only believe in Texas Tech, but you. A lot of this, we know you, and your history. I appreciate the questions about UIL. My thoughts is, while vague is okay, I think for communication reasons, we need to be as transparent as we can be, setting expectations realistically. The statistics I first saw in December of 24 was we were losing over 1,000 students a year to online, homeschool, charter, ISDs in Dallas, and so we yeah, exactly. And we realized that we needed to have an opportunity or an option for the students in CCISD. And so this creates that. I would ask our partner to use the words world class when referencing us, because it's something. I mean, I'm listening to you speak about the countries, right? We have a district that speaks over 80 languages. I think the number is 83, and so we're about creating world-class opportunities, and I have no doubt at all that you'll continue on with that world-class partnership, right? And creating those world-class opportunities for us. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting to hear and see it. I'm anxious to see, that ninth graders go to 10th grade and then how it moves on. And of course, policy will consider those things. Ms. West, 100% I was thinking everything as you were talking, going, yes, 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 so I know we'll have those conversations in policy. For the district, the due diligence, time consideration. I know we've talked about funding. I know we've talked about staffing. So what does that look like? Because we're going to be offering our resources. Students can go to the campus and participate, in robotics and the things that we do, but specific to the district, and, we're the ones who, pass budgets and, all the staffing things. Where do we stand? I mean, we need to I would think we need to have a hand in the, working with the partner, and then student success, academic achievement. How does that look from the district perspective and budget and things like that?
No, that's a great question. So when we first started meeting with Texas Tech K-12, their guidance to us was that we needed a counselor and we needed a data specialist, or someone, registrar, someone who would work with the enrolling and those types of things. And so that was their guidance, and roughly one counselor per 300 students. And so at the time, that was what we were in our minds thinking we would be supporting. But depending on the interest, we are going to be flexible in deciding what our next steps are. So if we have closer to 300, then we may have a different request than if we have less than 100. So between the three campuses. So we will, I wish I could give you a definitive right now, but that was the minimum, is like one counselor, and that counselor would be also like a support coach. So they would be reaching out to students, monitoring progress, ensuring that the students are progressing at the rate that they should be, so that they would be successful in completing the course at a high level. And then our data specialist would be there to help with attendance and with enrolling, and possibly even some scheduling on guidance from the counselor. So that's what we're looking at, are those two staff members, but it really depends on the number that which would be like a counselor and then a professional and a paraprofessional.
Okay.
So,
I think several years ago when we were talking about online academies, the staffing conversation was that the requirements were that we were going to have to basically have a principal, right? Fully staff an academy, like an online academy. So with this partnership, it doesn't sound like that at all, right?
Correct.
And we're still meeting all the requirements.
Absolutely. And we are ensuring that 100%. We want to make sure that we're in full compliance with the law so that we can receive the ADA for our students' attendance and completion of courses. And thankfully, Texas Tech K-12 has given us a lot of great guidance so that we ensure that we have the right staffing for our journey.
Yeah, perfect. Resources-wise, computers, things like that, we're going to continue providing, to the students that choose or that may choose.
Yes, and I've already been in conversations with Dustin Harden, our CTO, and Arturo Sanchez, our Director of Network Technical Services, and they are creatively finding ways for us. Did I say it wrong? Oh, okay. Yeah. For a second, there are. Okay.
I am.
Did I say it is? Okay, so it is you for today. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No other duties as assigned. So I apologize. Arturo Gonzalez. I apologize. So, sorry. Okay, so and so we've been in lots of conversations about what this support could look like. If students who are in the area and would like to come and and be assigned a device, they could be. If they're not in our area, we're even exploring opportunities for that.
So again, that's one of those communication things. I think whenever people are going and looking at it, what will you be provided? Bullet. It's the computer, the resources, the opportunities, high quality, world class education, all those things, because I do think those questions, will come up from the families. And yeah, having the virtual, opportunities for people to go on and see what y'all are going to be able to provide, and, come out and hear more about it, will be very helpful. So, yeah, so I definitely look forward to it. I think this has kind of been a long time in the, through the process and all the due diligence, and we appreciate it all very much to you and your team, and all the partner schools. Look forward to it. Any other questions, comments by any other trustees? This will be a later action item for us to vote on, so no voting till later. So, okay. All right. Dr. Barron, anything else?
Just that, thank you for this opportunity. What I'm really proud about Texas Tech K-12 is this is what we do. There are very few schools that offer K through 12 asynchronous schools. UT High School is the other special purpose school district in Texas, and they only offer high school 9 through 12. This is all we do, and we consider ourselves world class. So truly, it is two world class institutions partnering together. It's in our mission statement. I know where my leadership evolved from right here in Clear Creek ISD. The collaboration, the friendships that are made along the way through the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to accomplish goals. And I have an equal team at Texas Tech K-12. And so to bring both of our institutions and personnel to work together to help Texas students accomplish their academic goals and not be hindered by a traditional 8 to 5 or typical school hours or brick and mortar walls is huge. And while we do have large partnerships internationally, this will be our largest stateside United States partnership with schools. We've partnered with other schools for a single classroom or individual students, but for a large number of students like this, it's super exciting for us as well. So thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to continuing to visit with y'all and make this better. Yeah.
Just a quick question, Dr. Bayard. You mentioned some communications or promotional information that's going to be going out. We often do a lot to reach our community, our local community, but the reality is that your reach, my assumption from a Texas Tech perspective, is going to be far wider than where we would typically communicate. You mentioned that you would funnel people to us, but that really just assumes, my assumption is that's just if their zip code falls within our boundary. It's not necessarily that we'll get the benefit of Texas Tech K-12 promoting this and us picking up students from across the state if they don't come through us. Is that right?
I think there are different benefits depending on what the families want. Certainly, we are beginning this marketing campaign across Texas in different areas. We've had one in Midland, Odessa, expanding into Dallas and the Houston markets. But there are certainly benefits for why students around Texas might want to come to Clear Creek instead of just Texas Tech K-12. Okay. A lot of those have to do with being affiliated with, one, a large school district, but a world-class school district. We believe we're world-class also, and that's why it's a partnership. And so we will certainly move kids that are inquire from Clear Creek ISD zip codes into Clear Creek ISD. Outside of that, I would love to see what kind of interest is garnered by Clear Creek ISD from your marketing campaigns as well, and we'll see.
Yeah. Thank you.
But this would be available outside, right? I mean, our policy would allow, for that. And so, if the reaches are to the students in Dallas or wherever across Texas to go through CCISD, that the opportunities are still there.
Yeah, we're not here to take your students. If you have students in Midland or Dallas that say we want to enroll through Clear Creek ISD, good. Again, my goal is to pull kids back into public schools all across Texas.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, one more.
I just, I forgot in my remarks, Dr. Bayard, to first of all congratulate you. I can't remember, I think it was right before TASB when we spoke, and then finding out what your institution does, and then, creating that partnership. I just want to go on the record and say that when you were here, your work was exemplary, and I wouldn't expect anything less. And so congratulations to you on your appointment as superintendent of Texas Tech and, virtual program. And, I'm just ecstatic that we found a way to reconnect. That just gives me a good feeling that this is going to be a good partnership. So, thank you.
Thank you. So many great people here. Always fond memories, and I couldn't be more ecstatic. We've had a lot of interest with potential school partners, and Clear Creek is leading the way. There are others that will follow, but Clear Creek is leading the way in this.
All right. Thank you again. Thank you all very much, Ms. Lane, team. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. All right, so we have a discussion staffing update.
Yes, and we'll, as they're transitioning, and they're again, as they transition out, but those innovative principals that said yes to this opportunity. So whatever they come up with, we're excited and just very grateful for that. Well, we would like to move to that staffing update. As part of the annual budget and staffing review process, administration has completed initial elementary staffing meetings based on enrollment data and district priorities. Dr. Branch will provide an update on this process and outline next steps in the staffing review and instructional support restructuring.
Thank you, Dr. Engel and board. So just following up from the previous conversation in February, where we shared that the TASB staffing study as well as TK special ed staffing study had been completed. Just wanted to share an update as far as where we are now. So of course this links from the staffing studies, both completed in the fall, December actually, and then some work has been done over the course of time from the special education department as well as the Department of Teaching and Learning to make some significant changes, which does have an impact on the staffing numbers. So if you would look there, we have our 26-27 changes anticipated for primarily the campus levels elementary and the instructional coaching units that have shifted and changed, and SPED as well as some emerging bilingual instructional coaching changes that we are anticipating for 2026-27. You'll see specifically we are focused on elementary here with reductions of 37 units for 26-27, and that's due to right sizing, of course, as we do annually. We are at the midpoint for our staffing and budget meetings. We've not yet started secondary. That will be after spring break. And so we anticipate some additional changes based on those master schedule reviews and some reductions there as well. Just for context, over the last 5 years, we've reduced 142, including this anticipated 37 for 26-27. We've reduced a total of 142 positions at elementary campuses due to right sizing. So that's an enrollment reduction of 1838, which has yielded a reduction of 142 staffing units. So just for context, as far as over time, every year we're seeing 20 to 30 reductions for elementary campuses. And so certainly it's been quite significant over that 5-year term. You'll see here the instructional coaching changes. Of course, we're shifting from a model from instructional coaches to content specialist and campus instructional specialist. And so I have a chart that I'll share with you in just a moment. But you also see there we have reductions anticipated from SPED based on a restructure from with considerations from the T-TEST staffing study of about 19 units. Now, this was before the SPED staffing meeting where they are taking into account evaluations in process and certainly an increased number of SPED students that we do have this year over and above last year and the year before. So we do anticipate, although their reorganization within SPED might have yielded 19 units, we certainly don't anticipate that we will be able to net or gain those back into the general fund because of the changes that were anticipated because of evaluations in process and an increased number of SPED students. So I do want to say that we likely will have some adjustments. Certainly we will, and that will be coming in the next month or so. We did have the SPED meeting today, so we were able to get a preview. We're analyzing those requests now, and certainly I'll be able to share that probably in April when we come back to share our update. So the teaching and learning organizational changes, of course, we have here the previous model for our instructional coaching, which is now shifting to content specialists, instructional specialists for campus, and deans of instruction for intermediate campuses, as well as some specific title support for instructional specialists and for the content piece as well. You'll see this as really a direct result of the TASB staffing study, where it did show that we were significantly higher with regard to the number of instructional coaching units as opposed to districts that look like us. And so certainly the Department of Teaching and Learning has taken some significant strides in making some differences, and that has made a difference as well in the number of units dedicated for that instructional support. It's also, though, tightened some efficiencies with the system to provide some instructional support across the campus, not respecting a certain content on campus, where traditionally we had a math coach and an ELA coach. Now the elementary campuses will have one instructional coach focused on instruction across the campus. At intermediate, there will be a dean of instruction, which looks a lot like our high school model currently. And so that's a change, as well as for district, our curriculum coordinators will be supported by content specialists, which will field out to those campuses that data reflects that they need the most support. And so we're excited about those changes to come. Next steps, we had the SPED meeting just a couple hours ago, so that's fresh and brand new. Secondary campus meetings, as I mentioned, those will be held after spring break. Of course, they're in the middle of course selection, so that has a lot of bearing on what those requests will look like and what our needs will be. And then in the month of March and April, we will be finalizing staffing for our departments. That includes CTE, VPA, athletics, and we'll see what those requests might be. And then in April, we review our stipends and we come back to you all for approvals for any of those changes.
Thanks, Dr. Branch. I'll open it up. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, on these numbers here, is there any chance that our open enrollment efforts will eat into this a little bit and maybe tweak that a little bit? Get an update on those numbers at some point on the open enrollment?
Yeah, we can definitely maybe Friday. We get at least where we are right now. You know, we can do that. Is that possible? Just to what the applications are right now. Okay, thanks.
And just as a reminder, these positions, the people that are in those positions will go on the excess list, which will clear before we hire anyone from outside.
That is absolutely correct. So we are actively taking care of those folks who are on that excess list, and our commitment is to make sure that they are placed in a position before we do any external hiring for those campus teaching positions.
Thanks, Trustee McKay. Open up. Any other questions? Go ahead.
You mentioned the staffing study and the recommendations. Could you just talk a little bit about the data that helped ultimately to inform the direction that we're heading, just for context, so that folks have that perspective. I think I'll share in this environment where there are so many pressures and so much there's so much challenging kind of the status quo, challenging how we've done things, and what people in the community, what our own staff would feel is contributing to the quality education and the environment, that I think it's important for people to know. We didn't just decide that as a result of all the things going on around us that we're just going to do this, but we value getting an external assessment and some data that informs this kind of decision.
Absolutely, and you said it better than I could reiterate, is these decisions have not been made in isolation of data, but also objectivity in terms of, with the staffing study and what it has provided for us, but keeping at the forefront academic achievement for our students and ensuring that our quality of teaching and learning does not minimize because we are making some reductions at this level, specifically talking about those campus instructional coaches and what that adjustment looks like. What we are able to do and move in our move forward to that instructional specialist model and content instructional specialist model is ensure that we have a better alignment and consistency within our system to ensure that all campuses are really they're doing the same thing with regard to respect to our instructional model and that sort of thing. I don't know that we have always been able to say that necessarily, but certainly with an intense look at the data and the needs, and also letting our data drive where our specialists will be. So in terms of that content specialist model, which we would have at district, and the data supporting where those people will be positioned in order to provide the very best for those students and teachers. We're excited about that as well. So,
thank you. I know Cabinet and Dr. Engel, and especially Alice from a budget perspective, and Dr. Branch from a HR perspective. Thank you all for investing the time to make sure we're providing the most thoughtful recommendation and decision of what otherwise could really be ugly, quite frankly, that could just be taking a hatchet to finding a solution. And I think it's with precision and it's with fidelity of information that ultimately allows us to get to the best possible place in this environment. And so I just thank you all for being thoughtful about how we get to this next phase. And I think for the community to know that this is just another example of things that we're doing in response to a number of variables that represent decreased enrollment, that represent increased cost escalation, that represent the challenge that continues to be placed on public education. And so as we think about an upcoming legislative session, as we think about things that should be highest on our priority list of people who want to represent us in Austin at the Capitol, that without question we should be emphasizing fixing funding formula for public education. And I think this really underscores that. We say it, and we know it, but I think until our community starts to echo that and hold people accountable in ways that looks different in the outcomes of a legislative session, so that a budget surplus of $30 billion doesn't lose the chance to address how public education is funded. And so without a doubt, I would say we do it world class. We do it in an excellent way. We are thoughtful. We are mindful of cost of anything. And I just think we need someone to step up and do that and meet us so that we can provide this to our community. So thank you all for doing that, because it's every day that we do this. So thank you, Dr. Engel, for really making this a culture where all of our employees know that we care deeply about where we are. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Trustee Sanchez. Anybody else? I know I've got a quick comment. Are we good? Okay, so just to be clear, with the reorg on all that, the students and families, they're not going to go without something, right? I mean, I know it, but I want to make sure it's communicated out that, while there are these reductions in the FTE, cuts and things like that, the reductions, that, resources wise, because I know content specialists are going to be floaters as needed for campuses, things like that. But can you make sure and explain a little bit more?
I think in conjunction with our school improvement officer, who is also intensely looking at data pieces and campuses across the district to ensure where the data shows a need and we are deploying that support. Certainly, that is the primary goal, to have that alignment across all of our campuses, elementary and secondary. And certainly we don't see any campus going without. If anything, it's going to be a much tighter system to ensure we have that support.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And Ms. I thank you as well. No, it's a teamwork. It's a lot of teamwork with everybody, and we appreciate you very much. No other questions on that? We're good? All right. Thank you. All right. Next item will be our consent agenda. There's 2 items there to consider. Anybody want to pull anything or make a motion?
Mr. President, I would like to pull item number 2.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Larson. All right.
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Check.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented minus item 2.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Cheka. All right. Motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. No? No opposed. 1, 2, 3. All right. 6-0. Thank you. All right. Item 2.
So this, I understand this is a sort of a preliminary step that we're taking today, and as such, it technically qualified to go on to the consent agenda. However, I think that this opportunity is of sufficient moment that it deserves its own vote. And I'd like to summarize, I heard quite a bit of discussion here on that agenda item. And 2 words came to mind. The first one was leadership. And I think that if you look over the broad span of history, you look, say, 100 years ago, in 1926 school, you look at what school was like today, and there's tremendous change. And certainly, if you look 100 years ahead, there will be tremendous change. Each one of those little changes that go into how things were done in our grandparents' day and how things will be done in our grandchildren's day, you can mark those changes and say, well, that was a first. And I am really heartened to see CCISD engaging in a first here today. I think that exemplifies leadership, and I think that's necessary if we're going to continue providing world-class opportunities to our students. The other word that came to my mind was partnership. We are as successful as we are because we are humble enough to understand that we need help. And we have been very successful at finding partners in the community and across the state who have been able to help us become what we are. So when I look at our proposed partnership here, what I see is a trusted partner, a respected institution, an old friend, and a colleague who we know can innovate. When I listened to all the questions that were asked, I saw that there was tremendous effort that has already gone into this. I understand that this is just to authorize the superintendent to negotiate a memorandum of understanding. But I think the time is ripe. I think there's enough work has been done on this that we're all ready for this step. And so therefore, I would like to move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation to negotiate a memorandum of understanding with Texas Tech to initiate ClearTech.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Larson. And I just want to make sure that we cover it with your motion that it is to negotiate and execute an MOU.
That's correct, as presented in our agenda.
Thank you. All right. So motion's on the floor. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, and no opposed. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Larson. Thank you, Mr. Baird. Dr. Baird, sorry. All right, next item on the agenda, our election agreement.
Okay, and Ms. Benzai is going to share just a little bit. The Education Code requires school districts to hold joint polling places on election day with a city or county within their district in accordance with the election code. And the agreement presented to you this evening by Ms. Benzai allows for CCISD and the City of Nassau Bay to share a polling place on election day with no further obligations.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. So in District 2, one of our 3 polling places is at the City of Nassau Bay. Historically, to meet this requirement of holding joint elections with another entity we've worked with the City of Nassau Bay, and so had a polling place there. District 2, we have, on Election Day, we'll have Ferguson and Parr Elementary, and then the City Council Chambers or City Council at Nassau Bay. So that will give those voters in Nassau Bay a real easy access to be able to take care of their city election and their school district election. The polling, the machine is all different, but it's all in one location. The City of Nassau Bay is going to be considering this at their council meeting in March. So this is the first step to ask you to approve this, and then they will take it then for approval with their city council.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Benzai. I open it up. Any questions, comments? None? All right. Thank you, Ms. Benzai. So I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I move that the Board of Trustees approve a joint election agreement with the City of Nassau Bay.
Thank you, Trustee McKay. All right, motion on the floor. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, and no opposed. Thank you. All right, and with that, at 6:41, this meeting is adjourned. All right. Do you have time for a drink? Do you have time to go for a drink? Food and drink? I texted Robert while we were meeting, so I don't know if he's. I don't